Elon Musk loves his freedom. Free America now. Bravo, Texas. Celebrating Texas restaurants, retailers, and other businesses reopening this Friday. His quotes are even better. From this article, Elon Musk slams fascist social distancing measures in rant about Tesla production. They try to make it like he's selfish, it's all about Tesla production, but really listen to what he says. If somebody wants to stay in their house, that's great, Musk said, according to a recording of the call. They can stay inside their house and should not be compelled to leave. But to say that they cannot leave their house and that they will be arrested if they do, this is fascist. This is not democratic. This is not freedom. Give the people back their goddamn freedom.
Extension of the shelter-in-place, or frankly, I would call it forcibly imprisoning people in their homes against all their constitutional rights. That's my opinion. Breaking people's freedoms in ways that are horrible and wrong, and not why people came to America or built this country. What the fuck? Excuse me. To say that they cannot leave their house and they will be arrested if they do, this is fascist. This is not democratic. This is not freedom. Give people back their goddamn freedom.
Excuse me, outrage. So it will cause great harm, not just to Tesla, but many companies. And while Tesla will weather the storm, there are many small companies that will not. You can see the picture. They're trying to smear Musk, and with the title, of course, and all these Democrat politicians and such are saying, oh, he's so selfish. Oh my goodness, it's all for Tesla. But he literally said right there, I can weather the storm, but many companies cannot. And the fact that people are trying to act like it's only the big corporations who will suffer if we keep shut down, not the tens of millions of people who lost their job and businesses, is just disgusting. But these people have no low, no shame. It's repulsive to see how much they lie, deceive, and stir up confusion. He also responded to this Dr. Birx's video I'm about to play, saying, classifying all deaths as corona, even if corona didn't cause the death, is simply a lie. This is misleading to the public. This is what he's talking about.
So I think in this country, we've taken a very liberal approach to mortality. And the intent is right now that if someone dies with COVID-19, we are counting that as a COVID-19 death.
Can you be sure? I mean, you hear from coroners that that's not necessarily the case. Or are you sure? How can you be confident about that? And is there any concern that it skews?
And people are so filled with fear that they're not really thinking critically and understanding the situation. Anybody with COVID at the time of death is considered a COVID death. Death by COVID. That's what they're classifying it as. Think about any contagious virus that exists on planet Earth. If everybody that died with it, they said died from it, it's almost statistically impossible to keep this under the hundreds of thousands. So it is starting to seem like a never-ending game of counting cases, which are way lower than the actual case rate, and counting deaths and putting them on the television to scare the crap out of people.
So that means that if you were in hospice and had already been given, a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as a COVID death. It means that technically, even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
Elon also said docs make good points, talking about the Dr. Erickson video that YouTube actually deleted off of their video platform, like the Orwellian, draconian, completely dishonest fact checkers they think they are. He posted this Wall Street Journal article, give people their freedom back, opinion. Do lockdowns save many lives, said the Wall Street Journal. In most places, the data says no. And Elon and Wall Street Journal aren't the only ones who think that. This is from a Bronx doctor. He said, I've worked the coronavirus frontline, and I say it's time to start opening up. Emergency physician in the Bronx, had COVID, so did his daughters, still wants to open up quicker than most politicians and even some people. Elon continued crushing it by posting this chart. Hospitals in California have been half empty this whole time. And he showed the government data where he got that. Even Trump doesn't seem to understand this. He keeps talking about old talking points, but not mentioning the whole reason and the whole justification for the shutdown was to flatten the curve and slow the spread. They're not trying to stop the spread. It's probably not possible. They're trying to slow the spread so hospitals didn't get overwhelmed. The irony, the hypocrisy, and the paradox, of course, is that they did overwhelm the hospital. Thousands upon thousands of nurses are getting laid off because of charts like this, all across the country. Yet Trump, Fauci, and all of these people in the Democratic media keep moving the goalposts further and further, never acknowledging their last lie, never acknowledging their last false prediction, never acknowledging their horrible strategy, and just keep moving forward more tyrannically. So thank you, Elon, for pointing that out, because that was kind of the justification for the shutdown. We're going to slow the spread, and then they keep getting crazier. Honestly, including President Trump. Elon then went to say Silicon Valley has become sanctimonious valley, too much the moral arbiter of the world. I want to point out too that there's a lot of billionaires who influence a lot of our policy and fund a lot of organizations, including the models that were falsely predicting the whole reason that we did the shutdown the way we did it, which is the University of Washington models funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But people like Bill Gates and billionaires like Ted Turner, who fund billions of dollars to the United Nations and many, many more, they think that population growth is a big problem.
We've got to stabilize the population. When I was born, there
so what's wrong with the population? I mean,
with too many people. That's what.
But this is not a scientific consensus. Elon Musk actually says we're facing the exact opposite problem, and he's trying to make that pretty clear.
The biggest problem the world will face in 20 years is population collapse. Collapse.
I agree.
I want to emphasize this. The biggest issue in 20 years will be population collapse. Not explosion, collapse.
So overall, thank God for Elon Musk being somebody high in the science and technology world who's fighting against the media narrative, like when he called CNN and said, I'm surprised they're even a news network still. And regardless of his political stance, I don't really know it, he's standing up for freedom, he's standing against tyranny, and he's pushing forward the facts and the science that nobody wants to really talk about, from Trump to Fauci to the media. They keep saying this is why we're doing it, then the reason they did it doesn't happen, they're completely wrong, they screw up so much other stuff, including possibly the food chain, trillions of dollars of loans, millions upon tens of millions of jobs in small businesses, and then they never apologize, they never recorrect themselves, they just move on to the newest lie and the newest fear-mongering tactic without even exploring all the options. And what could be clearer than when we found out from the Department of Homeland Security Science and Technology sector that sunlight destroys the virus faster and indoors is worse? But they don't update their science, they just scream, science, science, I own science, all I care about is science. And then they do the opposite of science and whatever they please in their power-hungry, completely unconstitutional heads. Let me know what you think in the comment section. God bless you guys, and God bless anybody at this point who's not going to lie to our faces, who's not going to silence dissent and start censoring anybody who has a question about their horrific strategy and horrific track record with being accurate this entire time. God bless anybody standing up to them, questioning them. Have a good one.